Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to the continuation of my Europa Universalis 4 preview. And in this one, I am going to answer your questions about multiplayer. Multiplayer is a huge topic, and Paradox games have had multiplayer for quite a long time. But there are a lot of potential issues in the multiplayer. One, there's certainly been some valid complaints that the stability of the multiplayer experience in the past has been a little bit lacking, especially with sort of latency and desynchronization issues and a few things like that. Now, with the caveat that I played in a LAN experience for our test. We were on a LAN, we were not going over the internet. Things were certainly pretty darn stable, and in fact, Paradox has been quite explicit in that if it weren't for the multiplayer aspect of the game, they would have released the game by now. Instead, they're spending another 3 or 4 months focused entirely on developing the most stable and functional multiplayer experience in any Paradox system to date. Now, part of that is just hopefully having more stable netcode, but another part of that is just adding more and more features for the game. For example, this game will integrate with Steamworks so that you can, if you're playing the game on Steam, you can go into your friends list and invite people to join your game from there, or join their game from the Steam's friend list. So it should be a lot easier to get together with your buddies and organize that. There will be a lobby with a sort of matchmaking kind of system where you can see open public games and you can chat in there and arrange games with people that way. None of this will work as well as it would if it weren't for the fact that they were introducing the ability to hot join. That is to say, join a game that is already in process or in progress. And that has tremendous implications for the game. First of all, it means you can start a game, set it to public, and then have people join in and out as you continue to play. If a human-controlled nation, if that person disconnects or leaves the game for any reason, the AI will take over. So, I mean, if you're playing with a group of friends, then if someone disconnects because their internet fell out or their game crashed or something, maybe you'll just pause and wait for them to reconnect. But in these sort of public games, you can kind of keep going with the flow not too badly, because if someone drops out, an AI will keep running the country. So it's not like the armies will just stop moving or, people will stop spending money. Things will keep going in a reasonable fashion. And if people reconnect to the game, well then great and wonderful. What was funny is the media or the press releases about the multiplayer that Paradox have been putting out have included some pretty kind of tongue-in-cheek digs at both themselves in the past, but also other gaming companies. For example, they will include LAN play, the ability to do direct connections over IP, and dedicated standalone servers so that you can run servers in sort of a proper and more effective manner. These have all been promised, and it should lead to what... Well, there's no doubt about it. If they can deliver on all these promises, it will by far be the best multiplayer experience in any Paradox games to date. Even if there are stability issues, even if people sort of crash, then, at release especially, because games at release often still release with a few bugs here and there, although Paradox has done a really good job. Crusader Kings 2 was remarkably stable and remarkably balanced at release. The thing is, Paradox has now grown enough as a company that they can have a dedicated quality assurance staff testing these things all the time, which is why Crusader Kings 2 was released much higher quality than any previous title from Paradox in the past, and EU4 should be hopefully even more so. Certainly much more stable and balanced than any previous release before Crusader Kings 2. They're a very different company than they used to be. And so even if there's a little bit of those sorts of crashy issues or disconnection issues, the ability to re-hot join is going to patch over a lot of those woes. We'll have to see how stable that is going forward. Again, when I played in my multiplayer event, it was in a LAN setting, and in fact the hot join hadn't been complete yet. So I wasn't able to really experience firsthand how everything worked in terms of stability over the internet, and also how hot join works in practice. But I like the idea that I can just start a game, I can set it and say it's friends only, and then people see me on Steam, they can jump in my games and take over as friends and beat me up or something. Okay, maybe that last part is less cool. But other than that, hopefully it will be pretty good. This video is short enough, we can put in a few other questions. Some people asked about any plans they have to improve tutorials. One of the things Paradox has said is they actually have a full-time person on staff now that only does tutorials. That is their job. They just do tutorials, and they've really been experimenting a lot more with different tutorial types. Certainly, Crusader Kings 2 had some much improved tutorials over previous versions of the game, and March of the Eagles had a very different kind of tutorial system. If you haven't tried it, it was really neat in terms of they were using sort of exclamation marks to call out things as you played. It was a very interactive experience, and they gave you help as you went forward, and it was much more manageable sort of information bites. And I thought I thought it was pretty good, pretty solid way of doing it. And with EU4, they're going to continue to try to evolve their tutorial system. I think the fact that they have a dedicated person, that's their job, probably has pretty high promise, hopefully. Luckily, EU4 I think is a little bit more intuitive than EU3, but it'll remain to be seen. So I haven't actually played with the tutorials, but they're very well aware of the importance of the system, and they're investing in that. Someone was asking about loans. So one of the things that was brought up in the development, in some of the development diaries, is the idea that loans don't come out of thin air anymore. They come from other countries, very much like Victoria 2 does. When you take out a loan, you're more or less taking a loan out from another country who's lending you money. And in the build that I played, it did seem in the diplomacy screen there was a way to ask another country for a loan. Now I didn't really play with that too much, but also there's the ability to just hit the take out a loan button on your economy screen. And in the build I'm playing, when I do that, the source of the loan just says bank. That's all there is to it. Now, whether that remains like that, or whether that comes out of different countries, or what the exact mechanic is going to be, I can't say for sure. It's possible that the loans that come out of bank are the only ones that increase your inflation, for example, and maybe loans from other countries don't do that. But if you don't repay your loan, then maybe you can get a casus belli, for example. So that, I have to say, I have not explored fully, and I don't know if it's going to change. So there's still some unknowns there. And oh, last question I have on my list: is the Byzantine Empire still present? Well, empire is a bit of a stretch, but at the start of the game, the Byzantine nation does in fact still control 3 provinces. They haven't fallen completely to the Ottomans. They control the province of Thrace, which I believe on the map is where Constantinople actually is. They also have 2 more provinces. They have Achaia, I don't know how to say it, and Moria. And I did run a test game, and those last 2 are over on the Peloponnese Peninsula, some other place. And in my test game, I was able to quite handily also take over Athens, which was an independent nation. So, you know, within a couple of years, my Byzantine Empire was a 4-province nation. Certainly still dwarfed by the Ottomans, but if you have a dream of recreating the Roman Empire, keep the dream alive. Anyway, that is the last of my questions. Again, if you have any more, please don't hesitate to ask down below, and if we get enough of them, then I may make a follow-up video. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.